Once, there was a poor woman who lived with her son in a small house by a river. They didn't have much money, so the woman would gather leftover grain from the fields to eat. Despite being poor, they were happy because they loved each other very much. The boy had big blue eyes and curly golden hair. He adored his mother and always enjoyed helping her. As the years went by, the boy grew to be 8 years old. But then the mother became sick and they ran out of money. "I don't know how we'll get food," said the mother, hugging her son and crying. "I'm too weak to work and we're out of money." "I can work," said the boy confidently. "I'm sure the squire at the big house will give me a job." At first, the mother didn't want to let her son go because she wanted him by her side. But since they had no other choice, she agreed to let him go to the squire. Not wanting her son to look shabby at the big house, the mother made him a new outfit from an old blue dress. When he was dressed, he looked like a prince. His blue eyes and the new clothes made him look very handsome. Then she sent him off with a kiss to see the squire. That morning, the squire was walking in his garden with his daughter, Madge, feeling happy. When he saw the boy, he asked kindly, "What can I do for you?" "Young man, I want to work for you, sir," said the boy bravely. Though he was scared, "I want to earn money to buy food for my mother." "Earn money?" repeated the squire, surprised. "Why do you want to earn money?" "To help my poor mother. We're very poor, and she can't work anymore, so I want to work for her." The squire and his daughter were touched by the boy's plea. Madge took the boy's hand and kissed his cheek. "You can be our shepherd," she said. "You can keep the sheep out of the meadows and the cows away from the crops. We need someone to do that, and you can do it well." "All right," said the squire. "If he pays attention and stays alert, he'll be a great help and earn his pay." Then he looked at the boy and said, "Come back tomorrow morning, and I'll give you a silver horn. You can use it to call the sheep and cows when they wander off." "What's your name?" "Forget his name," Papa interrupted the squire's daughter. "I'll call him Little Boy Blue because he's dressed in blue and his eyes match. And make sure to pay him well. He's the prettiest shepherd boy we've ever had." "Agreed," said the squire, happily pinching his daughter's cheek, so she could only walk to the stile to meet Little Boy Blue when he came home from work. Then he would help her back to the cottage, and he was glad to support his mother and help her walk. But one day, something terrible happened. Little Boy Blue was coming home whizzing happily, expecting to find his mother waiting for him at the stile with dinner ready, but she wasn't there. Instead, he heard her moaning in pain. He rushed to her side and found her lying on the ground, her face pale and tears in her eyes. She had slipped on the stile and broken her leg. Little Boy Blue ran back to the cottage for water and bathed his mother's face. Then, he carried her back home since there were no neighbors around to help. Thankfully, they didn't have to go far, and he got her safely into bed. Then he wondered what to do next. "Can I go get the doctor, Mom?" he asked. Holding her hand tightly, she kissed him and said, "Yes, dear. Take the boat and go to the village. I'll wait for you." So Little Boy Blue rushed to the river, got the boat, and rowed down to the village. He found the doctor and told him what happened. The doctor promised to come right away, and they rowed back to the cottage together. It was very dark when they got back, but Little Boy Blue knew the river well. With the doctor's help, they reached the cottage, where a faint light was shining. The doctor treated his mother's leg, gave her medicine, and soon she felt better. It was almost midnight when they were done, and the doctor went back to the village. "Take care of your mother," he told the boy, "and don't worry. Her leg will heal, but she'll need to stay in bed for many days. You'll have to take care of her while she's resting." All night, the boy stayed by his mother's side, cooling her forehead and helping her. By morning, she felt better, and the pain was gone. She told Little Boy Blue to go to work, saying they needed the money more now with the doctor's bills. Little Boy Blue didn't want to leave his mother alone, but he had no one else to ask for help. So he left food and water by her bed, had a small breakfast, and went to tend to the sheep. It was a sunny day, and the birds sang happily. Little Boy Blue worked diligently, and his horn could be heard as he called the sheep back. But he hadn't slept much, and he felt tired from watching his mother. despite trying to stay awake. He couldn't fight off the drowsiness. Sitting by a haystack, he leaned against it and closed his eyes for a moment. The animals grazed nearby, and he listened to the sounds around him. Before he knew it, he had fallen asleep, dreaming of his mother being well again and waiting for him at the stile. The sheep wandered close to the meadow's edge, waiting for the horn's warning sound. Meanwhile, the cows caught the scent of the growing corn and moved closer to the forbidden feast. With no horn to call them back, the cows entered the squire's prize cornfield, and the sheep enjoyed the juicy grasses of the meadows. When the squire returned from checking his farms, he found the cows trampling the grain. He shouted for Little Boy Blue to blow his horn, but there was no response. He then noticed the sheep deep in the meadows, which made him even angrier. Spotting a passing farmer's lad named Isaac, the squire asked where Little Boy Blue was. Isaac, having seen the boy asleep under the haystack, refused to wake him, fearing he would cry. Instead, he volunteered to drive out the animals, hoping to take Little Boy Blue's place as the shepherd. Hearing her father's frustration, the squire's daughter came out and learned of Little Boy Blue's failure. Saddened by the news, she joined her father as he approached the sleeping boy. "Wake up," the squire demanded, shaking. "Little Boy Blue, you've let the animals stray and betrayed my trust. Leave my lands at once." Little Boy Blue woke up quickly and rubbed his eyes. As Isaac had predicted, he started crying hard because he felt bad for letting the squire down and losing his trust. Feeling compassion for the crying child, the squire's daughter hugged him and asked, "Why did you fall asleep, Little Boy Blue, when you were supposed to watch over the cows and sheep?" Little Boy Blue, between sobs, explained, "My mother broke her leg, and I stayed up all night caring for her. I tried my best not to fall asleep, but I couldn't help it. Please forgive me this time, Squire, for the sake of my poor mother." The squire, already forgiving the boy, kindly asked, "Where does your mother live?" "In the cottage by the river," Little Boy Blue replied, "and she's all alone, with no one nearby to help us move." By his words, Mistress Madge stood up, took his hand, and said, "Lead us to your home, and we'll see how we can help your mother." So the squire, his daughter, and Little Boy Blue went to the cottage. The squire had a long chat with the widow that same day. A big basket of food was sent to the cottage, and Mistress Madge sent her maid to nurse the widow until she recovered. In the end, Little Boy Blue's accident turned out to be fortunate. The squire gave them a pretty cottage near his own, and his daughter became their lifelong friend, making sure they lacked nothing. Little Boy Blue remained vigilant in his duties from then on, watching over the cows and sheep faithfully until he grew up and had a farm of his own. He believed his mother's accident brought him good luck, but it was truly his loving heart and devotion to his mother that earned him friends. No one hesitates to trust a boy who loves and cares for his mother.